Hello, this is Brighton TV and this is the match preview for Brighton vs Spurs. And last week versus West Brom, it was so disappointing with how we played in that second half. And it was the first time this season where you think Potter got it wrong. Every other game we've at least had lots of chances in the half and we've been dominating at times. That second half was so poor from Potter, and the changes and to move Lamptey out of the defence into right wing and play the back four how he did, that was poor. And then just their goal to equalise, it was just mistake after mistake from defenders, and that's just West Brom capitalised on our mistakes and then they ended up scoring. And the second half was all West Brom. West Brom deserved the point from that. But in the first half, it was a completely different story. Game of two halves. First half, we were good. Lallana, who was the centre of all of our attacks, he was the heart of the midfield and he was creating a lot. And some of the chances we had, we just didn't take. And Spurs, they're in a really good form. They recently beat Manchester United and Southampton, scoring 6 and 5 respectively. And then also West Ham, where they scored 3. And you just think they're really good at scoring lots of goals. However, you can see that sometimes they will mess up. Where you look at West Ham, where they were 3-0 up to around about the 70th minute, and then West Ham scored 3 late goals to end up drawing the match, and you just think you have to try and latch onto that. And they played a midweek Europa League game, so their players will be more tired because of that. And not only that, they lost 1-0, and that's where you think their players made mistakes at the back, and that's where you think you need to press Tottenham to try and force the error. And when we played Tottenham last time, we ended up winning 3-0 at the Amex and we lost 2-1 away from home. But both times we played really well and we were creating lots of chances. And that's where we need to do that versus Tottenham this time, where if you look at the West Brom game, you can't do that or you'll be caught out too many times and we'll end up losing the match. To get something, we need a really strong performance against Tottenham. And Spurs have 2 of the best forwards right now. Really good strike partnership in Kane and Son. And they are just so good together. They play so well together. And Kane, who's scored 5 goals and 8 assists this season, with Son scoring 8. And you just think you have to be careful with them, since them players, they're just so good at creating chances and taking chances, especially on the counter-attack. And that's where we need to watch out for, because them two will cause us lots of issues if we don't mark them properly. And something that we've been missing recently is Alzate and Connolly. Both of them have been young academy players, and what Alzate brings into the midfield, he's so good with how he ends up linking the defence to attack, and Connolly as well. He makes so much space for other attackers, and that's where I think Potter's made a mistake in not keeping the 2-man front strike force. And my lineup for this game, I think it should be a 3-4-1-2 with in goal. It should be Ryan with a back 3 of Veltman, White and Webster. And I think Burn was poor versus West Brom, so that's why he should be dropped. And White should come back into defence, where I think he'll be a lot better for us, since in midfield he's just not as good as what he is in defence. And the wing backs, it should be March and Lamptey. And I saw some people think, oh, we should go back to a back 4 for this game. I don't think we should, because when you look at our fullback options, we don't have a good left back. And March, he's a really good left wing back, but I don't think he'll be good as a left back. And then you look at Lamptey, who's so good as a right wing back. And that role allows him to go forward like he does and creates such an attacking menace, where if he's in a back 4 he won't be able to do that as often, and that's where you think you can't put them in a back 4 at the moment. And the 2 midfielders, I think it should be Alzate and Bissouma. And most of our good performances this season have came when Alzate's been starting. And I think we've missed him recently, so he should come back into midfield. And Bissouma's really good at breaking up attacks. And that's where I think he needs to be really good this game, because Kane and Son are two really good players. They're on form. We need to make sure they don't get the ball too often, since they can score a lot of goals. And in the 10 role, I think it should be Lallana. The reason is because, as I said, versus West Brom, when he was on the pitch, he was so good. He was creating a lot of chances for us. So he should play instead of Trossard, who I thought recently he's been out of form. He should be dropped for this game and be more of a super sub. And the two players up front, I think it should be Connolly and Maupay. And Connolly, as I said, creates lots of chances through making the space for other attackers when he runs in behind, forces defenders to drop deep, and that creates space for other attackers like Maupay, like Trossard, like Lallana to go and get the ball and get shots off. So that's why he should play. And I think he plays really well with Maupay. And Maupay's been off form recently. But I do think with Connolly, he plays a lot better. And I don't think we can play one up front now, because Maupay at the moment doesn't seem comfortable there. And when we play one up front with Connolly, he's just not good enough by himself, where he plays so well with a strike partner. And I think them two complement each other really well. And my score predictions for this game, I think will be 2-2. And I think Son and Kane will score for Spurs. And for us, I think it will be Connolly and Webster. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Brighton TV and follow us on Instagram.